In this lesson, we will describe chemical reactions using words and learn how to write equations for chemical reactions. A chemical reaction is a process in which a substance or substances is changed into one or more new substances. A chemical equation uses the chemical symbols to show what happens during a chemical reaction. These terms are often used interchangeably, but it is important to understand the difference between the two. Let's look at an example of a chemical reaction. Methane reacts with oxygen to produce carbon dioxide in water. There's nothing wrong with this sentence, and it accurately describes what happens when methane is combusted or burnt in oxygen. However, there are other ways to show the exact same information. We can show it in a molecular model format, showing a molecule of methane reacting with 2 molecules of O2 to produce a molecule of CO2 and 2 molecules of water. We can also write this out by saying 1 methane molecule plus 2 oxygen molecules yields 1 carbon dioxide molecule and 2 water molecules. However, as chemists, we like to use chemical symbols, so we can also put the chemical formula CH4 plus 2O2 yields CO2 and 2H2O. And this is the most common way in which you will see chemical equations written. Whenever we're writing a chemical equation, we always have to make sure the equation is balanced. And when we say balanced, what we mean is that the number of atoms of each type is the same on both sides of the equation. For example, on the left side of the equation we have 1 carbon atom, 4 hydrogen atoms, and 4 oxygen atoms. On the right side, or the product side of the equation, we have 1 carbon atom, 4 hydrogen atoms, and 4 oxygen atoms. Because of the conservation of mass, we must start and end with the same number of atoms. The bonds between them may change, but we will see the same number of each type of atom on both sides of the equation. Compare this to nuclear reactions where the identity of the element can and usually does change. In a chemical reaction, the elements cannot change identity. Other information can also be included in a chemical equation. Most often, we will see the phases of substances in the equation. These are given in parentheses after the chemical formula for each substance. G stands for gas, L is a pure liquid, S is a solid, and AQ is aqueous or dissolved in water. We've already seen the gas phase when we looked at Le Chatelier's principle and explored how changes in volume affect whether or not the reaction shifts to the left or the right. Now we're simply adding in some additional phases that you should be able to recognize.